Hi guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. In this verse of Ashtavakra Gita, Ashtavakra tells Raja Janaka, attachment to senses is bondage. Detachment from senses is liberation. Once you know this, do whatever it pleases you. Do whatever you like. What does this mean? Here, first of all, Ashtavakra gives Raja Janak a lesson that attachment to senses is bondage. It binds you to the material world, whereas detachment to senses is liberation. It liberates you, puts you into self-realization, deliverance, and ultimately going back to Godhead after realizing your true self as Brahman. This is the path for eternal happiness, bliss, and self-realization. Here, Ashtavakra remains non-committal. He does not want to interfere in the personal life of Raja Janaka. This is the case with every living entity. Every living entity has his or her personal life, thoughts, ideas, preferences, priorities, theories, doubts, fears, quizzes, and so on. So, one should not take the indiscreet right of a spiritual teacher to interfere in the deepest sights of every disciple's mind. That is what Ashtavakra wants to tell Raja Janaka. Do whatever it pleases you. It is only good for you. If you still have to live in this material life and create your own karma, then you can be attached to senses because that will bind you. Whereas if you feel enough is enough, I want to be liberated, I don't want to come back to this gross material world again. In that case, detach yourself from senses because they are the root cause for all evil in a human living entity and his karma and destiny. Attachment to senses. There are 5 senses. They are in the etheric body. They are sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. They are given an outlet to this material world through this living entity's gross body through by sense organs which are 5 in number. They are 2 eyes for sight, 2 ears for hearing, 1 nose for smell, 1 tongue for taste, and the complete skin for touch. Beyond this, there is the false ego, which we have already discussed about. False ego is when A living entity identifies himself or herself with this body, this body mind complex, which is made up of causal intelligence, astral mind, etheric senses, gross body, and the ego, plus some small elements here and there. So Ashtavakra says these senses are a bondage. How? When you start using these senses, you get attracted to something. This attraction turns to greed. This greed turns to anger, lust, false ego, illusion, etc., which are the five evils that plague every living entity. That is the reason why Ashtavakra says, don't get bound to senses through attraction, because once you do that, you again start new karma and start getting bound to this material world time and again. We have been doing that for birth after birth, death after death. He says, you may, if you like, stop it by detaching yourself from the senses. Once you detach yourself from the senses, you detach yourself from this mind-body complex. Once you detach yourself from the mind-body complex, you get detached from this material world. And once you firmly get detached from this material world, it cannot bind you again. And so, all your karma in the future will be either burnt or worked out because of self-knowledge. Only the residue karma in your living entity psyche or in your destiny will be worked out immediately and you will be liberated forever. Once you are liberated, you become self-realized. Once you are self-realized, you are delivered. When you are delivered, you understand your true identity as the Brahman. And once you do that, there is nothing stopping you from going back to Godhead. From you, or when Ashtavakra says about you, he means the self. And the self is a combination of soul and super soul. This is the gist of this particular verse. Please let me know what you think of my talk on this particular subject. If you sincerely feel that I am telling something sensible, kindly subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that I can keep reminding you of my future videos. Please pardon me for any error, mistake or blunder in my spelling, grammar, diction, appearance, etc. Because when I am talking to you on spiritual matters, I cannot think about these frivolous things. Please feel free to share with me your own priceless ideas, theories, opinions, doubts, fears, quizzes, etc., so that we may both join together, brainstorm together, come up with some new theory which will be beneficial to you, me, and to the future generation also. Till we meet in my next video, it is Good morning from TSV Raghavan.